excited? Excellent.
All right, we ready on TV land? All right, good, thank you. I'd like to call the public meeting for September 16th to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Barbarillo.
Here.
Mrs. Bebelovich.
Present.
Mr. Itkin.
Here.
Mrs. Mahan.
Present.
Ms. Quackenbush.
Here.
Mr. Rosenberg.
Here.
Mr. Santana.
Present.
Mr. Spindell.
Present.
And Mr. Banter.
Here. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Laws are enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of, to attend the meetings of the public bodies in which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the Fair Lawn Board of Education has posted notice of this meeting to be published by having a date, time, and place thereof distributed to persons on the approved list, posted in the Board of Education Administrative Office at the Byrd County Record and Star Ledger. The announcement posting for the regular monthly meeting along with the date, time, and place thereof was distributed on December 6, 2021. Items discussed during closed session may include personnel matters, student matters, legal matters, negotiations, and grievances, tactics and techniques utilized for protecting public safety and property. The results of these discussions will be made public as soon as possible. As per Governor Murphy's Executive Order 251, masks must be worn the entire time in the building. The duration of the meeting, and while speaking, proper PPE will be made available. Would you join me in a flag salute, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. This time I'm going to turn the meeting over to the superintendent for any comments.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So the only comment that I have at this point is we've been starting tomorrow. You will see a COVID dashboard that will be posted on our website. A couple of weeks ago, we changed our process so that we had put in our letter, don't be alarmed if you see more letters coming home about COVID. The reason why we did that was that we wanted to, in full communication and transparency, just be able to over-communicate so that even if you had a son in second grade and somebody in fourth grade tested positive, that the whole school would know that there was somebody in the building that did test positive. Prior to that, we were just notifying that one specific classroom, but people were finding out either on the playground or at a rec game or whatever it was. So we decided that in full transparency, we were going to over-communicate with COVID. So our numbers, have they gone up a little bit here or there? Yes. But we don't want you to be alarmed by what you see. And you will see them tomorrow. The dashboard will be posted on our website with our numbers for this week from Sunday up until Friday. In addition to that, many people know that the Department of Health changed their guidelines last week, saying that the whole state of New Jersey was in the orange, and that everybody had to quarantine now instead of 10 days to 14 days. Well, just a couple hours ago, good old New Jersey changed it and went down to 7 days. So they went from 10 to 14 down to 7. I happened to find out by reading the newspaper online, and that's how we were notified. So your frustration is my frustration, and I sympathize with you, especially as a parent, that it seems that everything just keeps on changing every minute, especially these difficult times such as the holidays. We have holiday concerts and all really nice things going on in schools, and the last thing we want to do is keep seeing kids be excluded from that because of these ever-changing guidelines. So with that being said, stay tuned. I find out at the same time you find out apparently, and we'll be updating our guidelines probably after the holidays again with this new information we just received a couple hours ago. With that being said, I'd like to wish everybody a happy holidays, a happy and safe holidays. Enjoy some time off, and we will see you at our reorg meeting, which is January 5th. It's a Wednesday night, not a Thursday night. It's a Wednesday night, January 5th, because technically we're supposed to have our reorg done by January 7th, which is a Sunday. So if we do it on Thursday and we get snow, then we wouldn't be able to have it done within the time that we needed it to. So it is on a Wednesday night. In case it snows on Wednesday, then we can push it to Thursday. So last year at a reorg meeting, I'm sure many of you don't remember because I didn't remember, and I had to go back through my emails and say, why is it on a Wednesday? And then we realized that it had to be done by January 7th. So don't forget, Wednesday night.
Thank you, Mr. Nursi. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to members of the public. I'd like to make any comments on the agenda items. Agenda items only at this time. Okay, seeing none. Board members, any agenda items, questions, or comments? Oh, I'm sorry, right, glad. Nick, are we open on the board?
It's open right now.
All right, let's give him a
We
minute.
can start with public, and we can come back if you want and see if it's...
Okay, all right, we'll do the board, and if anybody pops up. All right, board members? Vlad?
One quick comment I think I forgot to mention before. The minutes for the policy meeting have a typo. Fix it. Okay, thank you. That's it.
That's it? Any other board members? Read it.
So I have a couple of questions on the 5-year long plan. So on Forest, it says, can you hear me? Yes, on Forest, it says replace shades. The district replaced all the shades in April for the entire district, and it cost $100,000. Why are we replacing shades again?
We replaced every shade
In the district, and that was $100,000.
No, I see Pat shaking her head no.
We didn't replace every shade in the district. It was just certain buildings.
Okay.
No, that was in April. That was the entire district. Mr. Santana even asked, and you said the entire district, we don't want to, that was the whole in April.
Those were the broken shades that we replaced at that time?
In June.
Okay. Well, we'll find out with the architect, and we'll get back to you on exactly what it is.
Okay. Because we were in the gym, and I remember that.
I remember the conversation of the broken shades, and we said it was worth doing. God forbid there was a school security. It was
Exactly.
important to have shades that actually work. So yeah, I remember. But we'll look into exactly why it's in a long-range facility plan, and then we'll come back.
Okay. Another thing I was a little confused on, the priorities. The priorities in, it says Westmoreland, properly strip and provide sign for handicap space, and that's a priority number 3. But renovating the main office is priority 2. I feel like people with disabilities should have proper ways to get into our buildings, and that should be a number 1 priority versus that number 3 priority. And the same thing for Memorial Middle School, the providing handicap entrance ramp.
No, not you.
Providing handicap entrance ramp is a number 4 priority, while renovating the main office is number 2 priority. I feel like, again, providing people with disabilities the proper way to help them to get into our buildings. It could be parents, it could be children, it could be anyone. I think that's number 1 priority, and it should be a number 1 priority.
Nick, you want to give the public the answer that we already got in the emails?
Yeah.
Thank you.
The Memorial, this was answered already this week, but Memorial, we already have a ramp and there is access to get into the building. So it's not that it's dire that we have to do that, because we already have handicap accessible into this building. It's just something nice to have additional. So it wasn't something that was necessary that we had to do right now because somebody with disabilities couldn't get into the building. Same thing probably with handicap parking spaces. I'm sure that we have enough, because if we didn't, we would have heard from you if we didn't have enough. It's probably adding additional to what we currently have. But so that's my comments on that. Thank you.
Okay. So another thing I saw that was a little confusing. It says in notes we're going to remove curtains for $19,000 to $500. Can you please explain that a little bit?
No, I can't, but I can get back to you on it.
What was the question, sorry?
About Milne's curtains.
$19,000. Okay, so last.
Also, I just want to say, in the future, if you could get us these questions ahead of time, that would be great, because the board has had this long-range facility plan for a month now, and we answered questions since last week on it. We had a presentation on Monday by our architects on it, and the board has had the most updated one again since this Tuesday. We've answered questions on it, but in the future, so that we're not put on the spot and we have to answer questions about $19,000 blinds right now, it would be helpful if we had these questions ahead of time so that we could actually answer it for the public and they know what it is.
I did provide questions for the education committee, and my questions were not answered. I had to write them 3 times for my answers to be answered as a typo. But anyways, only only one, I read it like 3 times, the long facility, only one office is converted from biobank to a Care Plus facility. What happens to the rest of the buildings? Why are we not converting them for usable space?
Actually, I had emailed the board after the last meeting that 4 locations are being converted into therapeutic rooms.
Okay, so why not all of the 10 buildings have space? Why aren't we doing it for all the 10 buildings?
Because some of the spaces, if you actually saw them, are conducive for therapy rooms. Some of them are in the basement of Forest, for example, where we took those files out of there. I don't think that's an appropriate space to put therapy down in a dark basement that probably smells pretty bad too, to be honest with you. But so we had to look at our spaces that we thought would be conducive, and as of right now, we're picking up 4 therapeutic rooms at some of the file bank rooms that we cleared out.
Okay, so F6C, page 44, board docs. I don't think, the board has existed until 2021, until the end of 2021, and we have been functioning well. All board members were able to read their agenda, everybody in the public could read their agenda, everybody could do pretty much what they're supposed to do. I don't understand why we need to spend $11,000 a year. I would rather spend money for enrichment for elementary school kids. I think that would be a much more useful way of spending $11,000 a year. Can you please, when I asked you this question in a write-up, you said it will prevent us making copies. Can you please explain?
Once again, I've explained this in writing several times. We've had numerous committee meetings, but if we want to go round and round, I'll explain it for the public again. We were moving to a paperless system for board docs, which allows a lot more efficiency. It allows us to save on copier costs, paper costs, staff time. All of our board docs for now moving forward, when we move over to the system, the public would have easy access for it. So welcome to the meeting. If she wanted to search something in there, she could just search basketball stipend, girls basketball coach, and every girls basketball coach stipend will pop up for all the years that we've been utilizing board docs. It allows more transparency, which we always ask for the community, to be able to see everything that's on an agenda. There's so many other features. The board, when we do make a change to an agenda, you will get an email right away. So Mr. Santana will get an email right away. Change was just made to the agenda. This is the change. We just added another coach to the agenda. So it's not you waiting for me to send changes home a week later and looking at the highlights. It just allows so much more efficiency. It's right on time with everything that we're doing, and we just think this would be a great process. I mean, let's be honest, Ms. Mihalovich, you've had some issues with your email lately, and you said that this would probably be something really easy for you because for some reason we're having trouble there. So I think this would be a great asset to all of our board members.
Well, I don't have the program that the school has because I'm not paying for that program.
Okay.
So that's the reason why I have issues. I also think, I honestly think that money should be spent for the kids, not for paper like FileBank. Next thing, the F7C, it says the online tutoring service. It says if you don't have enough teachers to do the online, to do tutoring, but tutoring is provided after school for middle school and high school students on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday by their teachers. Why do we need this?
So right now, our staff is contractually here to a certain time, and they're unbelievable in working with our students. One of the things that we were looking to do post-pandemic, which we're required to do with our ESSER funds, is to help identify and help students who are struggling and have academic gaps. By doing that, unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of interest at the secondary level for teachers to take advantage of this program, and understandably so. This is a very difficult time in education right now. A lot of people are burnt and tired, and maybe after their contractual time, they want to go spend time with their family. But what we don't want to do is preclude students from getting the help they need to address those academic gaps. In addition, I believe, once again, you've been asking about acceleration and how we help accelerate students. So, we were able to look at a program that offered 24/7, 361 days a year online tutoring services that go above and beyond what we offer our students. So now it's not even about just addressing students with academic gaps. It's about offering acceleration to all of our students at the secondary level if they were interested in it. Once again, I believe something you've been asking in many meetings was SAT and ACT help. This program also offers SAT and ACT remediation for students if they needed it as well. So there's just so many reasons why this would be a great program that would be federally funded and would help us address those learning gaps. Because right now, without an online tutoring service, we're not going to be addressing it at the secondary level because we don't have staff to address it at the secondary level. Elementary, we do have staff doing it at the elementary level. We have plenty of staff that was interested in it. So right now, we're just going out to bid. We are not awarding it to anybody. We're going to be going out to bid and hopefully awarding it in January.
So I'm confused. When you tutor someone, you answer questions to someone, you don't teach a lesson. So how are you saying it's acceleration? Acceleration to me is you teaching a new topic or explaining new material. How is that different? Tutoring is like, I have a question number 3 and number 4, please explain how to do it. And that's totally different. So how is that acceleration? Can you please explain?
You know, I'm really not going to go back and forth on this right now, but thank you for your comment.
Okay. So Tutor.com was the only company that was presented in the education committee. Out of 39 reviews, 1.9 stars was provided. So I feel like that's not the best thing for our children, and I don't think we should outsource education.
Thank you. Tutor.com was the only one that presented to the education committee, but wasn't the only one that we looked at. And out of those reviews, if you looked at the reviews, I'm sure you did, but out of those reviews, it looked like majority of them were disgruntled employees who were no longer working with them because maybe they weren't good tutors and they were replaced, and they were going on their website to bash the company. Because I actually looked at all the reviews and read them as well.
Yeah, can I speak on that?
Yes, please.
Because I was at the committee meeting. This program, according to what I saw, was an excellent program to give our students the opportunity to benefit if they took advantage of it. The program, as Nick said, was for all different types of students. It hit upon special ed. It hit upon ESL students. Talked about doing test testing for the kids. It was a 24/7. You can call up at 3 o'clock in the evening and there would be somebody there. He gave us a demo where it showed that it took 30 seconds, and that's what he said it would take, between 30 and 45 seconds for somebody to pick up. They explained how the process was done on a math problem. There was a supervisor at a previous demonstration who definitely approved of what was going on. These teachers, there's a 6,000 person inventory of people waiting to become one of these teachers. They give rigorous testing. There's only 5% of the people who test who are selected. And there are 4,000 individuals who are employed by this company, meaning they can handle any possibility whatsoever. And that was most impressive to me. So I'm definitely voting yes on this, from what I saw.
Okay. As education chair, I just want to say I echo Mark on his comments. That is exactly what the entire committee, in the education committee, just for the public's knowledge, is Mark Spindell, me as chair, Cindy Jo Quackenbush, and Julie Mayhem is the education committee. And we certainly do not want to replace teachers. And teachers give extra help between 3 o'clock and 3:30, I think it is. I'm probably off, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is an extension so that the student has problems. There's someone that they could call because, you know, our teachers, we don't want our teachers to have to do that. And I don't think our teachers want to do that. Like email the students all night. That's not fair. That's not within their contract. As far as the questions that were sent to me, I asked the questions that were sent to me, the ones that weren't answered already. Most of them were answered, and all of those answers are in the education committee minutes even before I had to make a couple corrections. They were in the Education Committee minutes, and then just to make sure that all board members had answers to the questions, I sent all the questions that were asked out to the committee, to the whole board, so that they knew the answers. So, you know, I think we just have to trust our committees. Otherwise, if we don't trust our committees, I don't know why we have them.
So you want to say something on this topic?
Yes, I just wanted to say that one of the things that impressed me on the presentation was the fact that they are available all hours of the day and night. There's many students that leave here and maybe have to take care of siblings, or they go to sporting events or whatever. And they may not sit down to do their work until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And this was an avenue where they could reach out, and I thought it was great. The other thing that impressed me was the tutor had no idea who this person was that was asking this question, because he did not reveal himself as and it wasn't until after the tutoring session was over that he successfully got the answer to the question that he wanted, that he told them that this was part of a demo for another district. The SATs and the ACT presentations that they had, I think are wonderful. It's a place where the children can go, again, at any time, except for, I think, 4 days a year that they actually shut down. So I think it's a win-win. I agree with Mike, it's not taking the place of the teacher, but it's certainly making the help available at any time, day or night, for the students.
Thank you, Cindy. Rita, you have 30 seconds left. Would you like to?
Mr. Santana.
Oh, well, wait, hold on. Oh, you already got that.
Oh, she can finish.
I finished.
Everybody goes once, right?
No, there's a second time everybody can go. But you still have 30 seconds from your first time.
I'll take the second one.
Okay. All right, Mr. Santana.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. G1, page 7, I will be abstaining. S1, page 16, I would like to congratulate all the retirees. I know when I'm 55, I'll be retiring early, so it takes a lot of dedication to teach or to work in the school system for 15, 20 years, so congratulations to all the retirees. C3, page 39, I would just like to ask the administration if this February and April recess camp, if they can be widely advertised, because I think this is great, especially for those parents that don't have the relatives to stay with their kids during the break.
The flyer is ready to go. We're just waiting for the board's approval tonight, and it's going to be out there tomorrow on social media and Peach Jar.
Yes, we have a lot of members in the community who don't have their parents, that don't have their parents here to babysit the kids when we have February and April break. So this recess camp is a big help. F6B, Frank 6 Boy, page 44. With this, is it the expectation of the administration that this demographic study bring equality in the numbers of students that attend one school over another? For example, Mills and Radburn, as we know, they are highly populated, whereas Lindquist is underpopulated. So is the expectation of the administration that this demographic study will bring some parity in terms of the allocation of the allocation of the districts per school?
I guess the real question is what the definition of underpopulated is. If you look at the size of Lindcrest and the number of students and the size of a Warren Point and the number of students and the size of the Mills and the number of students who are there, you could make the argument that they're adequately populated. But with that being said, I think we'll allow the data to drive the decisions. Once the report comes back, we'll take a look at it, we'll see what it says, we'll look at our enrollment, we'll look at the square footage of our schools, and we'll make the most informed decisions we can moving forward.
Thank you. F6C, Frank 6 Cat, page 44. I understand, I think the rationale is to stop the excessive amount of emails due to so many corrections and last minute additions to the board agenda. But I don't think this solves the real root of the problem of so many documents and so many changes and so many attachments. I just wish the money could be spent on other stuff. F7A, page 44. I would like to see, and this is my opinion as a board member. I really would like to see, I know this may not be popular among some board members, but I would like to see the central office seriously look into the old Washington School building on Bergen Avenue. Hopefully our premium space on Edison can be used as a school, not board offices. This is my personal opinion. Also on F7A, I read some of these cost estimates. I understand the engineering, maybe they are the ones that come up with the cost estimate, but $500,000 to replace one elementary school roof. My goodness, I know, but I still need to express it, that we get the best price because, these school construction projects are very, very costly. F7C, Frank 7 Cat, Mr. Norcia, is it, are sophomores going to be, college sophomores going to be the tutors, or what college year will the tutors be?
College sophomore, they're adults who have to go through rigorous testing to become tutors for these companies that we're looking at. Right now, and that'll come out of the RFP process, you'll see the qualifications. Right now, all we are doing is asking the board to support us going out to bid to see what online tutoring services are out there, but that'll be part of it when we start scoring it and looking at it.
I see my time is up. I'll go the second time after everybody goes.
I just want to clarify, Edison is a school with 80 special education students that are there now. In addition to that, just to clarify, did you say that you wanted Bergen Avenue to become a school?
No, I would like to see the central office located there.
Oh, you want to see central office
Yes.
located in Bergen Avenue?
And I know
That's why I asked for the clarification.
And I know the argument, well, I know my time is up, but when I go the second time, I will finish my statement.
No, it's all right. I'd like, if it's okay, I'd like to hear your response.
He's actually got 30 seconds, so go ahead. You got 30 seconds.
That building has a lot of historical significance in our community. For those of us that, have read the history of Furman, and although there is an argument to be made about the size, there are brilliant people that can make this space right here fill many offices with many cubicles. But I really think we need to find a better use of our classroom space.
Okay, all right, now your time's up, thank you. All right, it was Ron, and then Julie, and then Vlad, and Rico.
Just want to, F1A, I want to thank all the donors for all the donations that they gave for every different type of thing for us. Again, in the community, the PTAs, everybody else. It's just a big help to our school district. That's one thing. Second thing is that this, from just a couple comments I heard. Mr. Santana, $500,000 for a roof right now. Excuse me, I'm not going back and forth.
Okay, I just want to be sure.
I'm not going back.
Well, you really shouldn't even mention anybody's name, but go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. Right now, the cost of materials are through the roof. And that's why they're estimating that, because everything right now is so high. And just to give a perfect example, there was a job that was bid 7 months ago for $125,000 in lumber. It's now $240,000. So that's why the prices and some of that stuff, right now, they're looking at the higher end, so that's why everyone understands it. They just want to clarify that for you. Because in commercial roofs, a lot of different materials are hard to get right now. The resins are not accessible. So it's taking a longer time. We just want to bring that to your attention. That's all. The last thing is I like the idea of the tutoring services. Because when it was presented, when I read it in the education minutes, and it was also presented, speaking to somebody in the finance committee, brought it up a little bit the other night, I just think that to give children and families the opportunity 24/7 to be able to help improve anything they're struggling with, and then maybe you can help them advance or give them technique in helping them, I think is something that's a great idea. And if we can do that to help our children, again, we're in the business for the children, I don't see any reason why we would not want to do that as a board member. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. Julie?
I just wanted to reference the discussion of board docs. I'm actually really familiar with it. My former district used it, and I don't know if anybody can see, I'm having a hard time accessing my email from my computer, so I'm using my phone. And if we had board docs, it'd be easily accessible for us to check the board agenda and the board minutes from when you were referencing the shades. I can type it right in, and in their version it comes right out. So if you were to check any district that uses Word docs, and I used to work in Kansas Regional, they use it, you can type my name in and anything about me comes up. Any time that they discuss my job or any training that I went to, and I know that we very often have parents and staff and board members who are interested in knowing what trainings we're going to and what information they need. They can easily put Mr. Norcia's name into it and find every training he has gone to and what that training looks like and the information on it. So it really makes everything very easily accessible, especially when we're having discussions like this and we want access to it. That's all.
Thank you, Julie. Glad.
So, we're now doing final approval of the policy 0167. So starting with the next public meeting, the public will have 3 ways to participate: in person, telephone call in, as well as submit written questions through the electronic form like we do now. One important thing I want to point out, just kind of a comment, not a question, what we're approving has extra sentence as compared to what's online. So what we're approving here has the following sentence. This is talking about the length of the meeting, length of public comments. The presiding officer shall have the option to extend the time for public participation for agenda items and or other business beyond the 60-minute limit if needed. So this is what's getting approved now.
Thank you. Rita, your second round.
Okay. So just wanted to let you know, tutor.com, it says this is just again, am I qualified to become a tutor at tutor.com? Current resident of the United States, have a Social Security, eligible to work in the U.S., available to tutor 5 hours a week, an expert in the subject, possess oral and written communication skills, currently enrolled as a college sophomore or higher education accredited university in pursuit of a 4-year degree. It doesn't say that the person has to be a teacher, don't have to be trained in special education, don't have to be trained in how to teach bilingual children. None of that is part of the requirements. And that was one of my questions for at the education committee that was never answered. Just to let you know. Lindcrest, our 5-year plan says 2 trailers will be renovated. What are the trailers used for?
Right now, small group instruction.
I have another question. Since we moved the fifth graders into the middle school and we added 2 extra classrooms, can those classrooms be used for the children instead of trailers?
I'm sorry, what was?
We moved the fifth graders into the middle school, correct? So we added
Correct.
2 extra classrooms, according to Mr. Bonta in one of my emails. He said 2 extra classrooms are now emptier because.
At Windcrest?
Yes, that's what Mr. Bonta wrote on the email. Is that incorrect?
No, it's correct, but still not understanding. You want me to utilize,
The classrooms rather than trailers for the students.
the classrooms are being utilized for students right now. But we're still utilizing the trailers as well. We have many things going on. Small group music, in small group instruction is music lessons. Small group instruction is occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech. There's many different things that fall under small group instruction. So those classrooms are being utilized as well.
Another question is, why are we buying 1,000 Chromebooks on F70?
Once again, this question was answered for the board, but for the public, I will answer it. We are purchasing additional Chromebooks for the elementary schools. They are not one-to-one going home with the students, but there'll be Chromebook cards for all of our elementary students. We think right now this would be very beneficial for us. We have additional ESSER federal funds that are allocated exactly for that. And right now, God forbid, we are looking at COVID numbers. If we shut an elementary school down, there's a concern that we wouldn't even have enough devices for our students. So, with these devices, this would make sure that our students and our teachers can adequately continue instruction online with the students. My apologies. The middle school and the high school is completely one-to-one at this point. At this current time, we only have 700 additional devices for the elementary school, and we have 2,000 elementary school students. So if we shut 2 elementary schools down right now, we would be struggling to ensure that every student is properly equipped. So with all these classroom carts, it would ensure that our students all had devices and our teachers could utilize them as well. One more thing is, if we have a cart that is 500 pounds, 1,000 pounds, and it's on the 3rd floor at Forest School, and the 1st floor at Forest School teacher needs to utilize that cart right now, we're calling our buildings and grounds guys to come and carry that 1,000-pound cart down 3 flights of stairs for those students, and then they're bringing it back up to the 2nd floor for another classroom to do it. This would allow carts to be spread equally and equitably across all buildings on every floor and all grade levels.
I have a question. Last year when we were remote, didn't the elementary school kids have a computer?
Elementary students that requested a computer had a computer, not every student.
Okay. Well, the last thing is a comment that I'm going to make. So one of the agenda items is we're adding, I'm not sure if it was attached to how much we're, it's F6D, the ESS Northeast LLC. So we are increasing our substitute rate from whatever we had, but the problem is we're paying a 28% markup. So now we're paying $42 per sub, an extra. Besides paying $150 for the substitute, our billable rate is $192. So we are actually paying almost $200 per day for a substitute. And I feel that there's no reason to pay a markup if we're going to pay so much. We can pay $192 for a substitute, and we would have more people moving to substitute, in my opinion, than $150 a day.
Thank you for your comment.
37. And that's it. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Mike?
Good evening. I just wanted to talk about board docs first. And this might go for other things too. We talk a lot about transparency, and I feel we are transparent in everything we do, but it's the what the public sees. And to have searchable docs is worth $11,000 a year, okay? When we have over $1 million budget, $11,000 to make the public be able to search our docs, to be able to make it much easier for us to look through the agenda ourselves. And a district, for a district of our size, is nothing. It's nothing, okay? And I'm all for that, that program. Going back to tutor.com, it's going out for, and going for the long term, and talking about the long-term plan. You know, the figures that are in the long-term plan, and we don't even have a figure yet for tutor.com, because it has to go through the bidding process. So whenever we do any of these projects, it has to go through the bidding project. So all we're doing tonight is we're voting on whether to go out to the bidding for the RFP or bidding process. So that's all we're approving tonight. And for the long-term plan, we could change that long-term plan, the order of stuff, at any time this board wants to do it. So all we're doing is voting on what's in that long-term plan right now. If we want to change something from a priority 4 to priority 1, am I wrong? Am I wrong? No. It could be changed at any time. And as a matter of fact, I think that was even in the answers to the questions. So, and as far as I don't really have my first time because it was just answering.
He's got 5 minutes because he was just answering your question.
And as far as, I lost my thought, but okay, I'm done. Have a good holiday, everyone.
Thank you, Mike. Any other board members? Mr. Santana, your second round.
Yes. In terms of the long-range facilities plan, it is my expectation as a board member that any project that provides access, especially to people with disabilities, it's moved all the way to the top. For example, Forest, it needs an elevator. It's a 3-floor building. It's not ADA compliant because of that. So we have the money. Also, I see some projects that will provide more access to those with disabilities. So all of that, this should not even be a discussion. All of that should be priority number 1. You know, when we take care of those in our community with disadvantages and disabilities, we take care of everyone. Going back to F6, so F7C, Frank 7 Cat. I don't have the page.
Should be 45.
45. Yes, 45. Thank you. You know, this is my personal opinion as a board member. When I started teaching, I was a tutor, a private tutor. I had a master's degree. And I know how to tutor, and I know how to teach. I've been teaching for 18 years. Now, I'm not comfortable as a parent having a college sophomore tutoring my child. And what I want for my child, I want for every child, the best. If a parent wants to make a decision for themselves to hire, someone privately, that's their right, and I support them having the right to do what's best for the child. My standards as far as tutoring is very high because I hire tutors privately for my own child. And, they have all been retired teachers or former teachers with at least a bachelor's degree. And I understand we are using federal money to pay for this, But I also understand this federal money, it's in 3 minutes? This federal money is one shot in the arm. And we already provide some of the service to extra contractual, offer extra help. I would like the money to go into other things like art, music, the RICH program, coding, you name it. F7D, I want to see our children writing on notebooks, not so much on computer. I want them to write and write and learn how to write cursive.
Mr. Santana, your time is up.
And yes, and I don't want a kindergarten carrying an 8-pound computer. They don't. This isn't a want. This is not a need. Parents of elementary school age kids are not begging for laptops.
They're not 8 pounds and they're not going home, they're staying in the classrooms. They're not 8 pounds and they're staying in the classroom.
Okay, any other board members, questions, comments? Well, we're not, time's up. Anybody else? Oh yeah, Ron, I forgot.
Just a clarification for everybody, okay? I am in the construction business, I am actually a construction official. When it comes to disabilities, the American Disabilities Act, okay? First of all, when they redid TJ and they did this, the referendum, they added extra ramps, access, that's all required by law because it's a new building element, okay? As far as what's existing, there are existing parking spaces at these schools and the restriping because they're covered because they went out. Okay, same thing, a lot of people think that's to be blue. That's not the color, it can be any color actually. It just has to be a certain size, all that other stuff. And I would love, and I agree with you, Mr. Santana, I would love to see an elevator at Forest School or every school. It is not required because it's an existing school, it's an existing building, so by the act, it's not required. And also, if we want to do it, I'd be all for it, I would vote for it. You're looking at a minimum of $1.2 million to install an elevator into the building. I'm just saying, so if we want to go ahead with that, I'm the first one to be ahead of it because I believe you should have elevators in every building. And I'm not saying what they cost for it either. I'll be the first one to say that because cost should never come into it. But we just have to be conscious of that. That it's not a requirement, so it's not that we're not doing it. Okay, if it was a requirement, it would, just like anything else, any type of construction you do in any building, 20% of it has to go towards barrier-free, which is part of the act. That's the law. So just wanted to clarify for everybody that, like I said, we do have handicap parking spots, we have ramps, we have a lot of stuff. The other thing everybody has to remember, barrier-free is not just people in wheelchairs. There's a lot of other handicaps, eyesight, they might have a problem walking, stuff. There's a lot of different things. That's why the law, or the code is set up to cover everything. Because actually, believe it or not, you're required to have a barrier-free bathroom on the second floor in a building without an elevator. Which I still don't understand, but that's the law. Okay? Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Gene, can I read the comments online?
Yes.
So there were 2 questions online, or comments I should say. One of them was about the live stream. Somebody was having trouble hearing it, but I believe that they fixed it and it's a lot better now, so thank you. The other one was from Olga Lyn Maloof, and it was, please discuss what steps will be taken at the elementary schools as more and more children are positive with COVID. Will there be testing instituted at the schools to ensure all students and staff are negative? Can distancing at desks be brought back to the classrooms instead of having kids sit at tables next to each other? At this point, the steps that are being taken for positive cases, we're looking at our positive numbers. I would ask you to hang tight and look at the dashboard tomorrow. It seems like there's a lot more positive cases in our schools just because the letters that are coming home, but we had said in our letter, don't be alarmed. By seeing that, it's just all the transparency that we're trying to show with COVID. I'm not saying that there aren't positive cases, there are, but to go to drastic steps right now, such as testing every student and every staff member, is not a recommendation we're looking at. If anybody is looking for testing, we'd be more than happy to help point them in the right direction. We know we have plenty of resources that we can do that. And in addition, our desk right now, we'll take a look at it, but I believe that we're just following the protocols and the guidelines that were set forth, and that they're in a good spot to ensure that all our students are, several feet away from each other. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nick. Okay, the comments being completed, could I have a motion? Nope, we did the public. Go ahead, come on.
I thought that you said that you were holding off on the end for the public, or was that?
No, we did the public comments on the agenda first. We just did the Google form at the end.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry, I
That's okay, after we vote,
I misunderstood.
you'll get your time to come up and say what you want. Okay, thank you.
There'll be another period of comment.
What has to do with the agenda, the long range facility?
All right, I guess I...
It's 30 seconds.
Okay, I guess I wasn't clear. Come on up.
Lisa Yorman, 66 Nottingham Road, Fairlawn. F, Frank, 7A. I was online about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and there was nothing online that showed the long-range facilities plan. Also, it says see attached amendment. There's no amendments that were available to the public. I have a problem with having a long-range facilities plan and not being made available. I think Mr. Rosenberg was talking about transparency, but if you don't have a long-range facilities plan available to the public in a reasonable amount of time, there's no way that they can talk about it. So I can't even comment on it because I didn't have it made available to me.
The amendment is actually the new long-range facility plan. We have a current long-range facility plan. Now this is an amendment to the old one, and that's actually the new plan. So the old plan is being amended to the new plan. Is that accurate?
Right, but I haven't seen the new plan. It wasn't made available online.
The new plan has been up for several days online.
I think somebody can also confirm that wasn't up this afternoon. That's in the audience. Okay. Also, just in keeping with the agenda, there's a class action lawsuit going with Chromebooks. I hope that the district will take advantage of that. If there are Chromebooks that something to do with the hinges or falling off or something like that. So if there's any of your Chromebooks that are broken, you might want to hold on to them to see if that you would have a chance of getting newer ones.
Thank you.
And I'll hold my other comments for later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just
Thank you. Go on, come on.
Just for the record too, I just checked the long-range facility plan is attached to the back of our agenda online.
Now, but not 3 hours ago.
Okay, we're not going back and forth. Dawn.
Well, you're...
We're not going back and forth. Dawn.
Hi, Dawn Ebner. I'm a teacher at the high school. I apologize. I misunderstood it before, so I apologize. Just a couple of quick items. Number one, S1, page 16. I would like to congratulate all of the Fairlawn Education Association members who are retiring as well. Next, on page 45, the first question, F7B, regarding Fairlawn High School, the cafeteria upgrades, is that upgrades to the student area, eating areas, or is that upgrades to the kitchen facility?
John?
It's actually to the student area.
The student area, okay. And then regarding F7C, the same page, the online tutoring services, I will tell you that I do agree that we need to provide students the assistance that they need. The one concern, but I have mixed feelings about this, is the 24/7 aspect of it. Yes, I think kids should get answers, or students should get answers at any time that they need an answer. But on the other hand, by having a 24/7 and a student being made available to be on the computer at 3 o'clock in the morning when we already know that there are sleep issues with especially teenagers, I think that kind of promoting that might be not the greatest thing. But on the other hand, I think it should be available if that happens to be. So I have mixed feelings, but just ask the board to take that into consideration while you're, looking at the different programs available.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Welcome back to.
Okay. G1 and G2, may I have a motion, please?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Barbarillo?
Yes, but abstain on the executive closed session minutes, November 11th.
Mr. Aitken?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mrs. Findell?
Yes?
Mrs. Fabelowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahan?
Yes.
Ms. Quackenbush?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
Abstain on G1, yes on G2.
And Mr. Banta?
Yes, may I have a motion for S1 through S3, please?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Aitken?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahan?
Yes, I'm staying on S3A.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
Yes.
Mr. Barbarillo?
Yes, abstain on S3A, please.
Mrs. Fabelowitz?
Yes.
Ms. Quackenbush?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes?
And Mr. Banta?
Yes. A motion for E1 through E3?
So moved.
Second.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Mr. Santana?
Yes.
Mr. Aitken?
Yes.
Ms. Quackenbush?
Yes.
Mr. Barbarillo?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mrs. Fabelowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes?
Mrs. Mahan?
Yes.
And Mr. Banta?
Yes, we have a motion for P1 to P6.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Mahan?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes?
Mr. Aitken?
Yes.
Mr. Barbarillo?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mrs. Fabelowitz?
Yes.
Ms. Quackenbush?
Yes.
And Mr. Banta?
Yes. A motion for SE1 to SE3, please.
So moved.
Second.
Good to go?
Yes. Roll call, please.
Mr. Aitken?
Yes.
Mr. Barbarillo?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
Yes.
Mrs. Quackenbush?
Yes.
Mrs. Fabelowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes?
Mrs. Mahan?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
And Mr. Banta?
Yes. We have a motion for C1 through C3, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Barbarillo?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Aitken?
Yes.
Mrs. Fabelowitz?
They're doing the C's, correct? Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes?
Mrs. Mahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Quackenbush?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
Yes.
And Mr. Banta?
Yes. A motion for F1 through F7.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Quackenbush?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes?
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Barbarillo?
Yes.
Mr. Aitken?
Yes.
Mrs. Fabelowitz?
No on F6C, F6D as in dog, F7C as in Charlie, and F7D as in dog. And everything else.
Mrs. Mahan?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
No on F6C, Frank 6 cat. No on F7C, Frank 7 cat. No on F7D. Frank 7 dog. Yes on the rest.
And Mr. Banta.
Yes. I think we're remiss, we did not thank people in F1 for the gifts for us, School PTA Milton, School PTA Antonia, Ingrati, Fairlawn Chamber of Commerce, Fairlawn Veterans Affairs Office, Rochelle Park, American Legion Post 170, and MTS Landscaping and Design for their generous gifts. Thank you. Okay, this time, I'm going to open the meeting up to the public for comments on other business. Again, step up to the microphone, state your name and your address, but I don't want your house number, just your street. So come on up.
Hello, Dawn Ebner again, teacher at Fairlawn High School. My question, comment is in our COVID situation that's going on right now. I know that the Fairlawn Education Association in previous years has worked very closely with the district on plans in the event that there is some type of a shutdown or a closure, whether it be district or individual classes, etc. And I am just wondering if there is going to be a continued conversation with the Education Association and how we can best serve our students. I know one big concern that we've had and continue to have is the amount of screen time for all involved, and I just would like to express that concern and encourage there to be open dialogue between the administration and the teachers and the staff who are providing that educational instruction for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I know that we met with the FLE Executive Board last week. We spoke with them about some of these things that are going on as it relates to COVID. I'll be happy to speak with Troy about this as well.
Thank you, Dawn. Any other members of the public? Please come on up, state your name, please. Oh, when you get here.
Issa Yorman. As this is Mr. Santana's last meeting as a school board member, I hope the community will join me in giving thanks to him. Mr. Santana led and supported our school district on behalf of our community for the last 3 years. I personally know what it's like to be that being a school board member entails many hours away from our families. What he has given us these past 3 years is strong leadership through challenges and celebrations, clarity through debate and decision-making, and a sustained vision for our district. All of these qualities are essential for organizations to be successful. To top it off, I think it is easy to see most of the time that you, Mr. Santana, really enjoyed working to find solutions. Your sustained leadership and guided decision-making with student well-being always at the forefront is a major contributing factor. Each member contributes her or his own strengths to the district and these different contributions and perspectives. These different perspectives actually strengthen the capacity as a board. They are able to navigate their differences, pick up on each other's perspectives, and ultimately arrive at the best possible outcome for our students and school district. So if you happen to see Mr. Santana around the community, please join me in thanking him for his service to our schools and the Fairlawn community. And then I have one more thing.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'd like to talk about the ADA and Office of Civil Rights. So back in, the law went into effect in 1990, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and back in 2000 and 2002, and probably Mr. Bantha would remember that there was a complaint that was sent to the Office of Civil Rights regarding handicap parking, elevator, among other things. And there was a plan to make sure that the whole district was ADA compliant, and it was far more reaching than the original complaint. And here we are again, 10 years later, 11, 12 years later, and we're talking about the same thing. We're talking about ADA compliance, and I understand Mr. Barbarullo's perspective, because he's correct in many of the things that he said, but I'm just saying what I knew, they actually even had to put plaques on the walls so somebody that was blind could use Braille. So that goes back again to when my kids were in school in the fifth grade at Radburn. Should also note that the Radburn handicap access is, there's an area that has like you can have a misstep and you can have a fall by where you wouldn't even be able to get a wheelchair up the hill because there's some problems with the paving, etc. So you might want to look at that. Appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Any other members of the audience?
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Idorni Santana, 30 Low Avenue. I am Mr. Wilkins Santana's wife. I just want to say thank you to everyone that came out 3 years ago in support of my husband. 3 years ago, he decided to throw his hat in, not just for my daughter's education, but for all our children's education. And I am very proud of the work he's done these 3 years, and I know he's going to continue to be an advocate for the betterment of our education for our kids. So thank you, everyone, and thank you for being wonderful colleagues and putting up with my husband these last 3 years. I know sometimes things get difficult, but thank you very much, and I appreciate everything that everyone here does for our community and for our kids. Fair Lawn Board of Education is wonderful, and I see it in my daughter and her education. So thank you very much, and continue what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Santana.
Thank you, Mrs. Santana, and Mrs. German. Thank you to Mr. Santana for his service to the board for the last 3 years. I was officially going to thank him at the January meeting when we do the turnover, but, you know, and no matter what, serving on a board of education or just serving, being a civic leader is not easy, and you can't please everyone, that's for sure. It's not an easy job to volunteer and to give your time up away from your family. And if there's one thing that I've said to Mr. Santana, if there's one thing that I wish for him, is to spend more time with his family and less time having to sit through meetings. So thank you for your service the last 3 years.
Okay. Any other members of the audience?
I do have a...
No, you got it.
Google Doc.
Yeah.
Cindy Cook, 20th Street. I just wanted to thank the Fair Lawn Police Department as well as you guys for the improvements we've made to Memorial for the drive-in drop-off in the morning. There has been a notice with just the addition of cones alone. We've been seeing there's less kids crossing the street randomly. And I know, obviously pedestrian safety is a big thing, but it's also making the lines move quicker, which is really, for us, dropping off in the morning, it's making it run smoother, and I appreciate that. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate it. Yesterday, I was at the beautiful LEAD graduation here at Memorial, and the Fair Lawn Police Department, they're unbelievable to work with. They asked, they were like, are things better? Is there anything else we can do? And apparently, they still have a few tricks up their sleeve that they're going to pull out from Memorial to even make it even better. So thank you for saying that. It's nice to hear.
Thank you. Any other? Come on down.
Christine Weinstein, Corvette Street. I wasn't going to say anything, but I just can't sit when I hear it come up again. Edison School is a school. There are students there. My son graduated from there. There are teachers there. They do teach every day. There's buses that are there. They have music. They have art. They have gym. They have lunch. It is a school on a regular schedule. It's like every other elementary school. Please stop referring it not being a school and turning it back into a school. It's a school. They do great work there. Kids learn there every day. They do a lot of work there. And it's a very special place. We're very fortunate to have it. So I'm sorry, I just couldn't sit and not say that. Thank you. Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Any other members of the public?
There's one comment in the Google Doc.
Okay.
And it is from, let me just read the name, Agnes Jankowska, it looks like. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. I believe schools are performing assessment tests to see where our kids start. Let me read it again into the microphone. I believe schools are performing assessment tests to see where our kids stand with the pandemic disruption. Were the test results released? If not, when should we expect them? Those are the Start Strong assessments. We just, the Start Strong assessment results just literally were mailed to us in district now. They'll be going home right after the break to the families. We encourage you to look at them. We have a letter that we just drafted, we just finalized, that will be going home. And Dr. Lacatina will be the lucky winner to give a presentation on the Start Strong assessments in the new year. So we have several things happening in the new year. We have our reorg meeting on January 5th. After our reorg meeting, the following week, we will have a closed session meeting just for the board members that we have to take care of some business. The week after that, we are going to have a presentation on our, we have our board meeting, and then we're going to have a presentation on the Start Strong assessment results as well as our mid-year district goal update. But we'll be sending all those, all the dates to the board over the next couple of days so that you can start reserving them for January and February. So it's going to be a busy month. We're going to hit the ground running as soon as we come back in January.
Thank you. Okay, now, members of the board, other business. Julie, then Mark.
This is other business?
Other business.
I just wanted to extend my thanks and gratitude to the staff and all of the faculty and our educators and our administration. This has been a year that has not been easy for anyone, and I want to wish everyone an enjoyable holiday and hope that everyone is able to get a well-deserved break so that we come back relaxed and ready to take on the rest of the year to support our students and our children. And I'd like to extend my gratitude and thanks to Mr. Santana for the work he has done over the last 3 years. And I do hope that you enjoy your time with your family and doing whatever else that you do.
Thank you, Jude. Mark?
Yes, I have two comments that I wanted to make. First, I'd like to take the opportunity to wish my fellow colleague, Mr. Santana, the best upon his retirement from Board of Education. He dedicated the last 3 years of his life in trying to improve our school district. Although it appeared that many times it was an uphill battle. Although his ideas may not have always been accepted or appreciated by a majority of the board, it certainly didn't mean that they were bad or they were wrong. He worked tirelessly in supporting programs that substantially helped our students, while always keeping the students and the taxpayers in mind. This balancing act caused for many a contentious evening, but he did what he thought was right and in the best interest of both of these groups. I'm going to miss him at future meetings. I wish him much success in his newfound time and his future interests. Thank you. The second comment that I wanted to make is I feel strongly that I think we need to look into changing the way that we do our business. I don't think the committees that are specific to finance, to education, and to the others, special ed, are doing us justice. I am seeing that there are many, many times that questions are being asked. I don't think it's because there's a distrust in the way that the committee is reporting what has transpired during those meetings. I think there's an uncertainty that maybe things could be done better, and that there are many questions that people have, because as was stated before, we all have our special interests, we all have our ability to perform in certain areas better than others, and questions constantly come up where we think that there's distrust among the person asking the question. I think we really strongly need to look into changing our ways and going into committee of the whole. When you're going into the committee of the whole, you're going to have everybody at the same time hear exactly what is being said. Not what people think they heard. There's going to be an opportunity for people to ask questions at that time. It's not going to be an embarrassment from the administration that they cannot answer a question because it was not given to them in time. Everybody is going to be able to make that final decision more than likely before they walk out from that committee of the whole meeting. So when we come back in January, I would, wherever it has to be placed on for discussion, I would really like to have the opportunity to have that placed where it belongs so that we as a committee, as an entire board, can discuss where we're going in our future, whether we want to continue with our committee reports or whether we want to have committee of the whole. Thank you, and have a great holiday for everyone.
Thank you, Mark. Ron. And Vlad.
I just wanted to take this time to thank Mr. Santana for his service. As a lot of people have said, that when you give up time for the community, it takes away time from his family. But most of us do it with the right reason, which you did. I know because I'm on a lot of committees, and I spend a lot of time away from my family, and I'm trying to wind down a little bit, but I wanted to again thank you for your service, and I wish you nothing but the best and success, and spend time with your family, especially your daughter, because before you blink an eye, she'll be graduating high school. I know, for a fact, so, all right? But good luck, thank you.
Vlad.
I want to say two things, just like Mark. First, I want to express my thank you to Wilkin for the past 3 years of serving to this community. I really enjoyed working with you, and everybody can see your passion, that you really are trying to work for the betterment of the district, of the students and taxpayers. And it is really appreciated. I can assure you that it is really appreciated by many, many people in the community, not just me and other people who spoke. Just want to say thank you for all the time that you spent and for all those efforts that you did over the past 3 years. Thank you. And by the way, I really like your bow tie. And secondly, I also want to remark, I think committee of the whole is the right way to go here. I will not go into reasons why. We can discuss it maybe later, but basically I agree with Mark. I think that, and I think Mike also mentioned, what Mike mentioned, I think, is the reason why it's a good idea to go to committee of the whole.
Done? Thank you. Thank you, Vlad. Mike.
Thank you, Wilton, for your 3 years on the board. If we, when we talk about committees of a whole and stuff, first of all, we did talk about it at the last board retreat. Unfortunately, we're unable to have family visits, so that's more important, no matter what. Our families are the most important thing in our lives. I do want to caution that when you have committees of the whole, first of all, we're a really big school district in this part of New Jersey, and it's not easy to have committees of a whole. You also cannot bring up an idea as well from the beginning to the end point, because what happens is the committees of the whole, the committee process, to have something in a committee, you're able to throw stuff out there and see what's going to stick and what's not. And if you do a committee of the whole, all of a sudden the public is going to think that you have already made a decision on those items, and you can't even. Sometimes it's going to hurt the discussion. It's not ready for the public yet. It's in its infancy. And then we're going to be accused of not getting stuff done fast enough because the wheels of government go slow. But I'm willing to, to hear everybody out, but I personally don't agree with committees as a whole for our size district.
Any, Mike? Thank you.
Oh, and have everyone please have time, spend time with your family, and over the holidays, this has been a real tough year. I want to thank all the teachers and all of our staff members in the community because, even with COVID and with masks and with everything else that we have to deal with, everyone keeps working and keeps doing what's right for the best, what's best for our children. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Rita?
I would like to say thank you to Mr. Santana for volunteering to be my mentor when I first joined the board. I appreciate all the countless hours you spent trying to help me understand the agenda, the budget, and how the board works. So I would like to say thank you so much for all the hard work you making sure I understand what's going on. Thank you again.
Hillary? Thank you. Any other board member? Mr. Santana?
Yes, first of all, I would like to thank my wife, Idami Santana, for being here, for those wonderful heartfelt words, and for excusing my absence at home many nights, and my daughter for excusing the many nights that I was not reading with her in bed. Lisa Yorman, thank you from the bottom of my heart for those wonderful words. I am humbled by those words, and I thank you for them. The one problem I wish I could solve, and I did not solve, is bullying. Bullying is a cancer in our country. A month ago, my father brought me a gift, the best gift we could give our children, which is Stand Up to Bullies. And I'm reading a book about how to prevent bullying, and it's really a cancer in our society. That is something that is an unfinished business. That I just wanted to say that. I want to thank all furlong voters 3 years ago for trusting me to be a board member and for having been elected with such a wide margin of support, which enabled us to make history by becoming the first non-white person on the school board, as far as I know. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve my community, and I will return to be a member of the public and keep a watchful eye in our district and our elected officials. However, I am not going to sit here and lie and say that I'm going to be in the front row at the next meeting. I will return to be a private citizen and trust that you will carry on. Although I have reached out to central office, I would like to say thank you for everything. You are truly appreciated and valued. To our wonderful teachers, thank you for your professionalism and dedication. And remember, words matter. To our children, you are amazing. Hard work pays off. Kindness is the biggest gift we can give and receive for the holidays. To my fellow parents in the community, let's be positive role models to our children. Let's be the positive role models our children need, want, and deserve. Remember, when we drop off our kids in school and we don't follow the drop-off procedures, our children are learning that. When we are not inviting and kind to people who look different or who do not agree with us, our children are learning that. Our kids do not learn what we say, they learn what we do. So let's do positive. Let's be kind. Let's do lovely things so we can create a better society for the future. After all, the leaders of tomorrow attend furlough schools today. And just to explain to those who voted for me, We achieved the expansion of the 2 middle schools. We hired more faculty members to lower class sizes. We updated the district technology and implemented a 101 initiative, which allowed students to have computers and laptops at the high school, and now at the middle school. We created a partnership with Bergen Community College. We improved the elementary school lunch. We redeveloped and enhanced the RICH program. We have a full day off for Martin Luther King. We have police resource officers. We have 2 new blue ribbon schools in Fairlawn Public Schools. So we have made a lot of accomplishment. I just ask that we give the people in our community the best gift, which is to be kind to one another, especially people who think and who are not like us. Because everybody is somebody. Nobody is nobody. Thank you, Fairlawn. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent, and to all my fellow board members. To those who agree with me and to those who didn't agree with me, thank you for the honor and privilege of working with you and serving the community. And you're gonna get a new board member who is in attendance in January. This is my last board meeting. I don't know if the superintendent forgot. I won't be here in January for the meeting, but if I get a letter in the mail, I will be here. So hopefully there's no letter in the mail. So, because I need to spend some time with Valentina. So thank you, and God bless Fairlawn, God bless our schools, and God bless the United States of America.
Sandy, I just want to wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. I know whatever you put your mind to, you can make a success, so good luck with that. Okay, that being said, can I have a motion to, no recess, right? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. We will see you in January. Have a happy and healthy New Year. Thank you.